What is going on, everybody? Welcome back. It's been a while. Sorry, different area, different place, different sound a bit. I'm getting a lot of reverb in my headphones anyway from this new place I'm in, but there's nothing I can really do about that. This is where I'm going to be for quite some time. But welcome to the show. Got a great show lined up for you. I've got Hargeet Chani here as my guest today. We're going to have a lot of fun, a lot of cool banter back and forth. We may argue a bit about stuff. Who knows? But you know what? If we do, it's all in good fun because Hargeet is my friend. Thank you for being here, my friend. Welcome yet again. Probably your 4th or 5th episode. Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks for having me on. Yeah, just fun times. We have Thanksgiving coming up. Some holiday stuff going on. It's great.
Everybody in the U.S. is about to have Thanksgiving and stuff coming up soon. That'll be a lot of fun. I see a lot of people in the chat. Thank you for showing up, guys. I know it's been a couple of weeks, but I'm trying to get back into the swing of things. It's been, a long road. I've had my dad's funeral recently and everything. And by the way, he didn't get laid to rest until Friday. So Friday it was the burial. It's been such a long time, but I'm back. And it's good to be back. GTL's back, and we are going to be better than ever. I promise going forward, we're going to be talking more about these games, more about this, the positive stuff with gaming as well. I don't want to focus too much on negative things all the time. It really brings me down. It honestly doesn't help either. And when I look through the community, I notice that a lot of people like more positive talk anyway. We might get negative sometimes about things we don't like within the industry, but it's definitely not going to be one of those things. We're going to be negative about PlayStation because we don't like PlayStation, or we're going to be negative about Xbox because we don't like Xbox. That silly console war stuff. I just want to do less and less of that. It's really not my thing anyway. But welcome. Let's get into the first topic, man. Let's talk about Larian Studios. Larian Studios, of course, those who brought us Baldur's Gate 3. Baldur's Gate 3 is on the cusp of being on your Xbox, folks. I know a lot of people are waiting for that on the Xbox. Hargeet, I know you personally don't really like the game too much, but I have to say, so this is first. Let's talk about what Larian said. Basically, they've let everybody know, Xbox players, that they say, we hear you looking for more news on Baldur's Gate 3. The game is on track for a December release. We'll see you at the Game Awards for the world premiere of the exact release date. So they're going to give us the release date on Baldur's Gate 3, finally, people, for the Xbox. And you will get to enjoy what I feel is a fantastic game. And why do I have a thumbs up on my thing?
I have no idea. That's weird.
What is that?
And you're like frozen for me. I don't know. That's weird.
Yeah. I'm stuck. I've got a thumbs up. I guess they like the fact that I mentioned that Baldur's Gate. I like it. I don't know. Is this some kind of feature with Stream Deck?
It must be,
because I hit my Stream Deck and it did something wonky. People, do you know what the hell just went on here? If you have a Stream Deck, what is this thumbs up crap? Because this definitely isn't my program. I don't know what the hell that is. I've never seen it before. That is weird. Okay, anyway, let me try to fix that in the background. But anyway, this is what they had to say here. Hargeet, let me go to you. Let me ask you, how do you feel about Baldur's Gate in general? Why don't you like the game, man? Like, what's up with that? What is it for you about this game that you?
Well, this is an interesting discussion to have because you're playing it on PlayStation, I assume, because you don't, or is it available in cloud streaming?
I am playing it on GeForce Now.
GeForce Now, okay.
Yeah.
Look, I played it in Steam, and I was expecting it to be like Tears of the Kingdom for me or Starfield for me, and wow, was I disappointed. The story was childish. It was just okay, fine, fine, I'll forgive that. The graphics, it started out literally, I thought, okay, this is 360 gen, okay, fine, whatever. I don't care about graphics, fine. And then the characters, every NPC you catch, is part of your companion thing. I'm like, these are all evil people. Okay, fine. Then the core gameplay, is that good? No. All right, so eventually, after 12 hours of just playing this without any soul, without anything to pull me through, I'm like, I give up. I was in a battle with some dungeon mini boss.
Yeah.
I kill the mini boss, and there's 5 minions still, and they keep like all my companions just keep falling. And all I do is like, as the one character that has any ability to do anything, is okay. I heal you. I bring you back. Like, I heal you. I bring you.
I don't think you gave it
I'm just
enough
so
of a
done.
shot. I think the
I'm
story
just
is
so
great.
done.
I think that personally, I think
How
the
can
story
you
is
say the story is great? This is the story for those who haven't played it. You start out, you get abducted. They put a little bug in your body, and then the ship gets attacked, and that person dies 20 minutes later. So your main antagonist is already dead. Second thing, oh, you have a time ticking thing where that bug might kill you. And then that whole thing just gets fizzled because you keep sleeping day after day after day. So there's no
but
there's
mystery. There's a mystery behind it that doesn't quite play out that way. Hargeet, like the more you play, the more you like get into the deeper story there, and why it's not affecting you the way it's affecting others. And then there's also other stories that you come across as you're playing the game. There's a lot of side content in this game that have incredible stories as well. I am enjoying this immensely. The companions
destroyed by the fact that it was so slow.
The companions are well written.
Oh
like
my
they're
God,
so good.
Horrible.
They're so
I
good.
literally was like, I'm just gonna let you guys die. And then at that point, I'm like, why am I playing?
I maybe you're not a fan of Dungeons and Dragons. Maybe I'm not
a fan of choices that are all evil, and I'm not a fan of characters.
It's not choices that are all evil.
Out of evil. Well, that's how I felt. Right, every choice was like bad or worse, and I'm like, no, okay, that's not how I would solve this. Like, but okay. And a lot of it, like they give you the ability to persuade, but it doesn't actually take. And I'm like, I don't want this then. Like, what is the point? Like in Starfield, I did everything through persuasion, right? And I was able to get away from killing anybody, right? So I did everything with persuasion. For those who like to go kill things, fine, that's great for you. That wasn't what I wanted to do. This game didn't offer that choice. And I'm like, okay.
Yeah, there is actually a lot of choice where you don't have to kill certain people. Yeah, there is. If you get through these dice rolls.
I've gone through like enough of it that I'm like, okay, in most of the cases where I wouldn't want to do that, they're like, yeah, no, you're going to do that.
No, this game honestly has more options than most other RPGs I've played out there. Probably more than any RPG I've ever played out there.
And fair enough, but those options have to resonate. And this is why
and maybe it doesn't resonate with you. For me, it resonates. I'm loving it. I'm well over 30 hours in, and I've been playing on, like I said, GeForce Now because I was weighing my options. I can't even fix my camera. It's so fucked up.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah, it's got this stupid thumbs up thing on it, and I don't know what that is. If anybody in the chat can help me out with that, what is that? I've never seen that. I hit my Steam Deck button, and it gave me a thumbs up on my video. It was just weird. Anyways, but the element of choice in this game is really what makes me love it so much, and the fact that it's, to me, well written, well acted. The voice acting is impeccable. Everybody in this game I come across is well acted. There's side characters that are funny. Somebody, Rachie in the chat mentioned a portion of the game with the bard in the eye. Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about without spoiling. That was freaking crazy. That was funny as hell. But again, that's just a side character you meet along the way that it ends up being funny as hell. Makes me laugh. I still haven't even scratched the surface after 30 hours. I'm still in Act 1, and I don't think I'm going to be leaving Act 1 for quite some time. I really honestly feel like people in the on the Xbox side are in for a treat if they haven't played it yet.
I don't think they'll buy it. Just like the PlayStation, I don't think they'll buy it.
I think console gamers in general aren't big CRPG fans. You're right. There's a lot of people out there who do not like turn-based. It turns them off. For me, it doesn't bother me as long as the game is good. This game is really good. The combat,
that's
I
the other
find,
thing.
is
So you
really,
like the combat?
Yeah, I like the combat a lot.
I couldn't stand it.
And
it was
first,
so dull. There was no reward. It was so dull.
I don't find that at all. I like the tactical side of it. I like the fact that as you get more spells, as you get more.
Like, do you just do yourself, or do you actually have companions with you? Because I found them just so utterly worthless that it was way more of a
no. You can't get past certain things by yourself. You definitely need some companions.
The game just does not resonate with me.
Yeah, it's just like with most other games. You have to be tactical, and if you have a party, you have to make sure you have certain members in that party that do certain things for certain encounters. It's very like I said, Dungeons and Dragons. It's You have to make sure that you have certain members in your party that do certain things to get past certain things. Because you'll come across stuff sometimes, even like a wall. To get through a wall, you need a certain ability or spell or something. And if you don't have it in your party, you're screwed. That's just the way it is. But I'm loving the game. And again, I say for those of you that don't mind turn-based, it's an incredible RPG. So much so that I'll say it's probably the best fantasy RPG I've played in a very long time. Very long time. Look, I loved Starfield, and I still love Starfield. But had I played this game before Starfield, I would have been more nitpicking with Starfield's RPG elements. Way more. Like there is. I thought that there was more choice in that game, but Baldur's Gate kind of exposes that the choices really aren't they don't affect you like they do in Baldur's Gate. There's literally party members that will leave you if you do certain things, and and not to just compare it to Starfield. Starfield, they kind of ignore what you do. Like even when you like rid the world of those, I can't even think of what they are, but you go back and everybody's like they don't even acknowledge it. They're just like sitting there like, hey, yeah, you did this, but we're not going to tell you thanks. It again. Had I played this before Starfield, I would have been way more nitpicky. But Starfield's still a great game. I still think it's one of my favorite games of the year, but Baldur's Gate 3 has surpassed that for my game of the year for 2023. I definitely think it deserves it. And we're going to talk more about the nominations and stuff later, because that is something that is really resonating with people right now, Hargeet, is the fact that a lot of people feel Starfield got snubbed, and we're going to go into all that.
No, it didn't.
But we'll get into why and all that stuff, because there's people out there that are pretty salty about it. But hopefully you guys in the chat, again, Larian Studios says that they're going to give you that date at the Video Game Award shows, at the Keeleys, mind you. And hopefully it's what would be nice? What if they just said, Baldur's Gate 3 is available right now on Game Pass? That'd be pretty huge. That'd be pretty big, because I think a lot more people would play Baldur's Gate on console if they at least try it. You know what I'm saying? Try it.
If it was in Game Pass, yes, but outside of that, I don't think so.
It's sad.
I think
why do you think? Okay, so Baldur's Gate aside, why do you think turn-based turns off a lot of console players?
I don't think it's turn-based. I think it's the genre. Top-down is just not something people like, and it's just not going to change. Look, I keep trying to convince people to play Yakuza. You played 0, you liked it, you don't even continue, right? Yeah. This is the way it is, right? And that's up most people's alley. They still won't play it, right? There's just biases that just exist. Right, the two Nintendo games here. How many do you think have played those games in our community? Right, they're great games. They're fantastic.
Tears of the Kingdom. Yeah. Even though I haven't played Tears of the Kingdom, I can look at it and see why it's getting accolades. Certain things it does is pretty incredible. It does. I mean, it's a lot of the same of Breath of the Wild. But at the same time,
you can say that for any game. Spider-Man 2
but that is but they added way more. But they added way more elements to Tears of the Kingdom than Spider-Man 2 did to the genre,
of course.
to the franchise. Yeah, it definitely did. But yeah, well, we'll get into that stuff later. Let's move on. Let's talk about WB. Finally comes out and denies that Wonder Woman will be a gas game, people. So it will not be games as a service, as many have speculated. Thank God. They're saying that it is going to be a single player focused game. Awesome. And they stated this. They said, Wonder Woman is a single player action adventure game set in a dynamic open world. Wonder Woman is not being designed as a live service game. So they also confirmed the Nemesis system for the game as well.
Oh, nice.
I mean, look, I think a lot of people are already turned off by, Rocksteady going with a Suicide Squad gas game rather than a traditional Batman game, like a single player focused game at least. So this is good for the company. I think this is good for gamers overall, because you played Suicide Squad, Hargeet, in early access. What was your feelings on that?
Yeah, it wasn't good. So like again, I have to preface that in that what I played, and I can't talk too much about it, was a small chunk of one of the chapters. So it wasn't like I'm getting the beginning of the game and setting the stage or anything like that. It was here's a mission, and then you go out and you try to do stuff. What we felt was, in Gotham Knights, if you played that, there are points at which you have to do like just go after a bunch of different factions to get intel.
Yeah.
This was worse. It just had a lot of grinding in the same thing. The differentiation in Gotham Knights of each character was more pronounced than it was here. Now, again, these are things they might be able to resolve, but the gameplay was boring. It just became repetitive and monotonous. So we're like, after about an hour or so, we're like, and it was friends. We were four of us friends playing it, and it just didn't feel like it was something compelling enough to keep us going. I think if the story were like more continuous, it might be more interesting. But that's kind of what it felt like. So uh, I was very disappointed. Most of us who played it were very disappointed, and we sent that feedback in. So I don't know what they changed it to. Right, that after that they delayed the game. So I'm not sure what that means as far as will the game be better. I don't know, right? But it
Yeah.
certainly didn't leave me in a position saying, "Oh, I'm absolutely going to pre-order this game." I'm going to wait and see. I don't know. So
Yeah.
I'll
No,
give
for
it a
real.
benefit of the doubt, but I'm not enthusiastic.
Yeah, yeah. No, I hear you on that. I wasn't thrilled when I heard it was going to be a gas game as well. But Wonder Woman, I'm glad that they're going to make this a single player focused game. The Nemesis system is pretty cool, but we'll see how they utilize that within the game. But yeah, man, like everybody was speculating that this was going to be another live service, and I'm glad it isn't. Damn it! And I wish I could fix my stupid camera. I've never had this issue before, so I don't know what this thumbs up crap is. It's like, yay, you're good to go. Okay. Shut up.
Yeah, odd.
Yeah, very odd. All right, guys, I'll try to continue to fix that behind the scenes. Another game that people have been talking about, and I guess it was pretty popular on the PlayStation side, which was the Persona franchise, Persona 5. A lot of people were speculating back in the day that Persona 6, the next installment, would be an exclusive to PlayStation as well. But sounds like Atlas won't be going exclusively with PlayStation this time around. It says that they won't be bound to just PlayStation. Hargeet, what do you feel about this, man? Do you like Persona games at all, or?
I finished Persona 5 before it left Persona 5 Royal, which was in Game Pass. I finished it right before like it left Game Pass,
Yeah,
like to the wire. It was a long game. Yeah, it was good. I like it scored in the mid 90s. I wouldn't give it a mid 90s. I would say it's probably like an 8. It's good. It's a good game. I haven't played the other ones. What I've understood, they're all kind of disjointed. So you don't have to worry about continuity or anything. But yeah, so Tactica, Persona 5 Tactica just came out, right? And that's day and date Game Pass. They have Persona 3 something. It's a remake of 3 that's coming day and date Game Pass. Look, Microsoft has gone out to Sega to repair that relationship, right? So
yeah,
it looks like they are trying to make sure that all those Sega games, Yakuza's and the Personas and things like that, are coming day and date onto the platform. And where they can, they're also putting them in Game Pass, which is good for Sega, right? Because it's guaranteed money up front. Why not?
yeah,
So I think that relationship has been helpful to them. They also are seeing the Square model and saying, hey, let's try to put this, take money up front and put it on PlayStation, and it's not exactly working out for them, right? So they don't want to fall behind and have that same headache on their side. So it's good to be multi-plat, and let's not forget they're also putting it on Nintendo, right? So they're trying to say, hey, we're going to put it wherever there are players, instead of trying to limit it to a certain platform. Now, Atlas has had a long-standing relationship with PlayStation, where they put most of these Persona games. It looks like they're just saying, hey, you know what? What's the point? We're not getting anything for that. Let's let's put it everywhere. Let's put it on Nintendo PC. Let's put it on Xbox. Put it on PlayStation. Get all the players, right?
Right.
And that's a good thing for them. They're a third-party publisher. They should just put it everywhere. What they really need to do is just expand the franchise so that more and more players play it, and that they have a larger audience, right? So I would say, yeah, this is a great move. I don't see why it would be a bad thing for them. So hopefully they continue that pattern and put their games everywhere they can. And the Persona 6 being, I'm assuming it's going to come next year probably, but whatever it is, it comes out everywhere. I don't know if Microsoft makes an announcement of, hey, we're also doing day-and-day Game Pass. Maybe not. We'll see, right? But yeah, hey, what the heck, right? If Microsoft wants to make it even more interesting, they could do that. But yeah, it is good. I think that this is coming to Nintendo. It's coming to Xbox. It's also going to stay on PlayStation, obviously, and then come to PC as well. Why not put it everywhere you want? You can get players. So
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. Did you ever have a chance to play Persona 5?
Yeah, I didn't like it because I didn't like the overall tone of the story and I'm finding it hard word to go, because if I say certain things, YouTube might say, you're being demonetized. But anyways, I didn't like the fact that, it was about especially at the beginning with the teacher and the kids and stuff. That was just, it's not my thing. It turned me off big time. So I didn't play it. However, my son played through the game. He liked it. However, when he told me he played Persona 4 after that, and he loved Persona 4 better. He loved it more. So
yeah,
I don't know. I'm not I'm not a huge anime fan. I like certain anime from the many years ago, like Ninja Scroll, Sword of a Stranger, movies like that, but I'm not a huge anime fan, so the visuals and stuff to me, it's just very anime. If you're into that, that's cool. I don't have a problem against it. If it had if it had a different storyline at the beginning of that game, I probably would have stuck with it, because it was okay. It wasn't terrible.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But stories got to grab you in these games, right? In RPGs, you have to like what you're playing through. And I just didn't like it.
Hence.
So just same way with you and Baldur's Gate 3, right? Same
Right.
the way with you. You didn't like it, and it didn't resonate with you, so you had to stop playing it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it sucks.
Yeah, there's another game that was also leaving Game Pass, which was actually pretty good. It was Solasta. And that one is much more like Baldur's Gate, except that story actually was good. I don't know. I like that one. That was better. But I chose to finish this over that one. But yeah, if it's of any interest to people, if you like Baldur's Gate, you might want to try that one out. I don't know how much it costs, but Celeste is pretty good. It's also a very D&D like it's literally roll the dice type stuff that shows up on the screen and all that. But the story was more compelling to me anyway.
Yeah.
So
yeah, no, for sure. I don't know how people feel about their chat. What do you guys like Persona games? Are you excited that Persona 6 is going to be on your Xbox day and date? I mean, you see a lot of guys, that were making fun of Persona 5 and everything, but when that came over to Game Pass and stuff, people were kind of championing it. They were like saying, yeah, we got Persona 5 on Game Pass. And it's like, that's part of the reason why I don't like the silly console war thing, because it's really not about the games. It's about the plastic boxes for them. And it's about what's on my box versus what's on yours. And then, when those games come over, if something's tweaked or if it's on a service and you're getting it quote unquote free, it's somehow better. And I don't know. It's silly at the end of the day. And I'm not very into that stuff. It's weird.
Yeah. No, that's fair, right? We should really just look at games for what they are, right? Even
rather than just focusing on the platforms, because I know a lot of people get mad at, say, like Zocker 87. He plays on PC, right? But he'll be playing the same games we're playing through Xbox Game Pass, and people will get mad at him. You're playing on PC, you're not playing. Who cares? He's enjoying the game just as you are, regardless of platform. The box doesn't matter. Hell, I'm playing Baldur's Gate on GeForce Now instead of PlayStation 5. Yeah. And it doesn't matter. Like, the game is the game. It's still the same thing. I just chose to play it there because when I was weighing my options, everybody was telling me play that game on GeForce Now because you can play it at ultra settings and all this, and that's what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And I can play it on my OLED and get ultra settings and 4K. It's beautiful, and it's clean. So it performs very well on GeForce Now. I'm shocked. You know that, Hargeet? GeForce Now, I tried a few games through Game Pass because you can get your Game Pass games on there.
Thanks to ABK, right?
Yeah. So I started playing those games, and I'm going back. I played Starfield, and I couldn't believe how good Starfield looks on a 4080 ultra settings at 60 frames.
Now do you see why we decided to play it on PC? I played it on 4090. I'm like,
there
I have the ability.
There was details within that armor and stuff, like the different armor and stuff you wear. There's details that is just not there on the Series X version. Like I don't see that I don't know. It's crazy. But yeah, the performance is really key though. For me, it's not really about the visuals too much. I mean, I like visuals just like everybody else, right? But it's that performance bump that you get with PC that is just unmatched. And it shouldn't matter. If you don't care about those things and you like your Xbox version or your PlayStation version, so be it. I don't ridicule somebody for playing on certain platforms. Never have, never will. It doesn't make sense. Play where you want to play. Unless you play on a Nintendo Switch, then you're a loser. No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. By the way, I gave praise to Nintendo on RDX a few weeks back when I said that I was playing Wonder. I like Wonder is a great game.
It is.
Super Mario Wonder is a really good game. And talk about pushing the genre forward and the franchise forward.
Exactly.
It did things in that game that Hargeet, I'm sitting there thinking it's just another 2D platformer. It's another Mario. And I'm thinking there's nothing they could have done to really change things up. And I was wrong.
Did. Yeah.
I don't know how they do it, but they do it.
Yeah. They do it. Exactly. Mario and Zelda, these guys, I don't know, they just keep reinventing themselves. I mean, there's a reason they come out in the 90s all the time. They just do stuff. They keep changing things up, and it's like, this is great. I mean, it is what it is. It's fun. So, yeah, I just finished it last night. I'm looking forward to actually playing Super Mario RPG, which I hear is supposed to be pretty good. So, we'll see, right? I'll try it out.
Yeah, no, for sure. For sure. Let's talk a bit because I was out for the past couple of weeks. Again, if you're just joining, my camera it just froze up. I don't know what's going on. It's got a lot of problems here. Okay. New place, trying to get things back up and going. Next week will be better for sure. I will figure this thing out before next week, hopefully before the end of the show. But if I can't get my camera back up, I apologize, but thank you for tuning in, listening, and looking at my great friend here with a great beard here on screen, Hargeet Chani. Thank you. But yeah, so I've been out for 2 weeks, and I missed out on the news last week about Rockstar. So Rockstar announced that they'll be showing the first trailer to GTA 6. And, the internet went wild for various reasons. Some people were excited, like myself. And then there was other people that were getting upset at rumors going around. And I don't know, Hargeet. Like, I'm a huge Rockstar fan. Okay. So I love the Red Dead series, love Grand Theft Auto, love that franchise. I've never been disappointed with a Red Dead or GTA. I've loved them all. So a lot of people are upset though, because there's a rumor swirling that there might be a playable character, protagonist in the game that might be a single mom. And I'm like, and what's,
I mean, that's going to be pretty common in that kind of world, isn't it?
I mean it's real world scenarios, and it's GTA. GTA is very.
It's not like they're giving you family values. I mean, the whole point is Grand Theft Auto. It's not about family values, right? These are gangbangers for Pete's sakes.
And so a lot of people were upset with that. I'm thinking to myself, why? I mean, chat. I mean, when you heard about this, when you hear about a possible single mom being a protagonist within the game, are you upset by that? And why are you upset by that? Because I can't fathom that. Is it because you're playing a woman, or because you're playing a mom, or Is it something that is just unheard of to you? I don't know. These are like real people within GTA. It's not like some superhero or MJ on crack, doing some crazy stuff, in Spider-Man 2 and winning the day. It's nothing like that with a crazy weapon that destroys everything. No, I don't understand that, Hargeet. I really don't.
I think it has more to do with just like the general culture, right? And promoting something that might be not so good for children themselves, right? But look, you have to look at it from what reality is. They're just portraying what the real world is, right? And
Yeah,
that's the way we are right now. Like, it is what it is. And I'm looking at like the world that this is going to come from is not going to be upstanding citizens living in high rises. It's going to be gangbangers. So if you're looking at that, like, that's going to be commonplace. Like, I don't see how that's a problem.
Well, if somebody
Like,
would have told me that you were going to play this weirdo character that would be waking up in trash cans in his underwear and stuff in GTA 5, I would have told you, well, that's weird. I don't want to play that character. But Trevor turned out to be an awesome character, my favorite character in that game. I loved it. So again, this is Rockstar. This is not a company that has traditionally, I don't know, quote unquote, gone woke. Dare I say, I don't think this is something that is just being put there to please anybody or make to appease the masses, so to speak.
There's an interesting point there, right? They're trying to do current day, right? This is not going to be in the past. This is going to be current day. And if you don't put at least some nod towards the fact that that is where the current day society is, right? That itself would just be like not true to form, right? You would say, no, look, today's society, that's what you're going to see, right? This is a representation of today's, America. And like, I assume it's in America, right? So if you're not doing woke stuff, then like you're not representing what the world is today, right? So they're going to try to do what that world is today. So you should expect to see some of that, right? Because that's what it's like to live in the US today, right? So I would expect to see some of that there, right? And if it didn't do it, you'd say you're just not being true to form, because that's what you represent, right? They're going to show you the way the world was at the time, and this is what they're doing today, right? So I would expect to see.
I'm sure there's going to be some things within every game that comes out now. Like it is what it is, but as long as it's not, things aren't shoved in your face a certain way or whatever, I don't feel like it's an issue. I really don't.
I think they'll use it, right? They'll say, well, okay, here's a scenario, and this is how the woke mindset works, and we're going to portray it as it would play out in the real world, right? And just let it go, right? So I think that's valuable. I think it like showcases the world, and you get to say, they can put in their version of, do they like it or not, right? They can mock it, or they can say, no, accept it, or go along with it, whichever way, but they're going to showcase the world. I like that, like the details about what they do. That's why the worlds look like they feel good, right? It's because it's detailed to be real. Like, this is like the world it actually is in, right? So hopefully they do that. Hopefully they showcase it in a way. They can mock it, they can not mock it. It's up to them, right? But I think they will put it in and showcase it the way it is. Like, if you're doing certain things, you might get berated, you might not. Hey, that doesn't meet this thing, and that doesn't meet that thing. Whatever, right? And they could do that totally, right? And I think they should, right? That's what they've done. They've mocked reality over and over and over again as part of the game, which I think is just fantastic, right? That's the whole point, the satire of reality.
Yeah, no, it's true, and that's usually how Rockstar does their games with Grand Theft Auto games. They usually do mirror the world we're living in.
Exactly.
They usually do.
They feel so real.
Yeah. So yeah, and I'm sure there's going to be a lot of parodies and things that they're going to mock certain quote unquote woke things. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, I just looking at the possibility of a single mother protagonist, it doesn't worry me. It doesn't scare me. Like, I don't know. I maybe I've just grown to the point where, I mean, for many, many years, we've been playing games as even cats and animals and stuff. And here we are playing as people, and it's like, does it really matter who you're playing in a video game? As long as that video game is fun and the protagonist is well written and well acted,
Yeah.
I could care less. I could care less. I think I just want it to be a fun game. I want it to be the classic GTA style game, though. I want it to be a very fun game, just like the last 5. I've loved them all. So yeah, we can all have our favorites. If I go back, San Andreas is probably my favorite, my all-time favorite. But they've all been amazing games. And just imagine this: the fact that I've been thinking about this a lot too. When we went from Grand Theft Auto 5, then we're now with Red Dead 2 in 2018. The big jump, the leap in graphics, animations, and you know. That part, hopefully, though, they get the control part kind of pushed up there, because the controls is really what holds these games back a bit.
Yeah.
It's the controls.
Yeah, I hated that in RDR2. The controls annoyed me. It was stunning, but man, the controls were irritating.
Yeah,
and the story was fantastic.
But this is how they play in Grand Theft Auto 2. I mean, it's their control system is very similar. I'm just hoping that they fix that, but I can only imagine the animations and the graphics for a Grand Theft Auto 6. It's going to impress us for sure.
Yeah.
Rockstar is one of those upper echelon freaking developers that usually produce some of the best looking, well animated games we've ever seen. So I don't expect anything less. And if any of that alpha footage that we did see that was leaked is any indication, I thought it looked incredible at an alpha stage.
Yeah. Yeah, they also had like the water
physics.
thing, right? Yeah. The water physics, which was, if you've seen the videos, it's like, oh my God, that looks beautiful. Mm-hmm. But we'll see what they do with it, right? We'll see what the full package looks like. Yeah. But yeah, usually they sweat all the details. So
it's definitely exciting. Next up, I want to talk about something. We're going to move on here. We're going to talk about PlayStation a bit here and their new gaming handheld device, the Portal. It's out now, and people seem to be loving it, Hargeet. And I'm going to queue up something here because my good friend and our fellow podcast panel member for RDX, D Batch, made a video on this. And I reached out to him earlier. I said I was going to use this video and little bits of it anyway in my show today, but I didn't get a response from him. But anyways, he bought it and he's been playing around with it and having some fun with it. The thing is, though, here's what I don't understand. So I have to admit, though, first, folks, that I am not a handheld gamer. I don't care for the handhelds. I'm not a big, I own a Switch, but I don't really play it that often. I don't care for it. I play it on the TV. But handheld games never been my thing. But I can see the appeal for some people who do like them because they're portable. They can take them on the go. I get that with like the Switch or any other handheld in the past, the PSP, the Vita. You're taking native gaming with you on the go. Now, this isn't native gaming. So I already have that against it. It's basically cloud-based to your PS5, right? It's linked to your PS5. You have to own a PS5 as well. So you're buying the $200 device plus a $500 console, and you have to be near the console to get the best performance. However, like as you can see D-Batch here, credit to D-Batch. I put a link to this video down in the description. If you have not watched it, go watch it, because I think he did a really good job here of testing this device. Now, this is right next to his PS5. He's saying that it's, the lag is imperceivable here, which I could believe if it's that close, but he does take it to his office later, and he takes it to, here's where he takes it to his office, and he gets on Wi-Fi. He takes his mobile hotspot, because herein lies the problem with this whole device, Hargeet. There is a big oversight here. It lacks a web browser. How do you come up with a cloud-based device that's Wi-Fi only without a web browser? How are you going to go to, say, Starbucks or anywhere that you may take your portable gaming devices and connect to their websites to agree to their terms of service? You can't. It is a huge oversight, Hargeet. So and now people are screaming at me saying, "Well, it works just fine on your Wi-Fi, on your LTE, on your mobile hotspot." And I'm thinking to myself, "No, it doesn't. There's no way." So here he is, and he's playing this over LTE, and he's saying that, "Oh, the lag's okay," and I could literally just see it lagging as he's playing the game. And I'm like, that is not good. That is not good. That is not good enough at all for a $200 portable device. And I say that in quotations because that's what it is. It's not really portable to me. You can only benefit from this in the comfort of your own home on your own Wi-Fi hooked up to your own PS5. And that, to me, is a waste of money. And I'm not here to tell anybody to spend their money the way they want to, but I'm just here to say, I don't get this device. It makes no sense. What, you want to play on the toilet in your bedroom? Like, I don't know. I mean, I would rather play on my big screen TV in my own home. Why would I play on this thing?
Yeah. And then the fact that you could do all of this with a backbone, or what's the other one? There's another one that does the same thing, right? The Razer Kishi or whatever the heck it is, right? You just plop the controller around your phone and you get the same bloody thing. Oh, you don't get the haptic feedback or the whatever triggers forcing your hands to be annoyed. But whatever, like, so that's the basic thing you get out of this. But I don't know if it's like, I don't get the appeal if it's in the same house, right? Because you don't want to play on your big TV, like, what would be the, like, if you really wanted to your TV is being used, TVs are cheap. Just go buy another bloody TV and put your PlayStation there.
And most people have one in their bedroom, right? So to put your PlayStation there, it takes 2 minutes. 2 minutes.
I don't get the value here. But look, if somebody wants to do this, good for them. It seems to be selling okay, I guess. So
yeah, it really is. I can't knock it. I mean, it's selling.
So if people want it, great. That's awesome. I don't see why I would want this, especially if I can spend a bit more and get a Steam Deck. And then I can just play everything native, and it'll do the cloud stuff. So, like, that's better. It's very interesting that if you wanted to plug into somebody else's Wi-Fi and you have to accept the terms of use, you can't do that.
Yep.
That's just hilarious. But it doesn't surprise me. You know why they do that is because then you could go use other people's cloud service, and they don't want to have, hey, look, your video's back. Yay.
All right. I think I'm back.
Yes, okay. Your video is finally working.
We'll see what happens. But for right now, I just unplugged my my little camera plug-in thing.
Okay, gotcha.
And replugged it back in. So I don't know what's doing that, but the whole thumbs up thing's got to go. I hope it's not the Stream Deck.
I don't know, whatever it was. But either way, so yeah, this thing, it never really made sense to me. But hey, if it's selling, good for them, right? If Sony finally has a peripheral that people actually want to buy, that's awesome, right? But I don't get it. And we'll see what it does overall, right? If it continues its sales pattern or not, right? But people certainly were, the scalpers were buying it up to sell it at higher costs. Like, okay, fine. If that's a thing, whatever. But I don't understand the appeal. I just don't get why I wouldn't just get a backbone. You were playing GeForce Now. You can play that on your phone. If you really want to play portable, you could do GeForce Now. You could do Xbox's xCloud or whatever the heck they call it these days. You could do the Sony stuff. Like, why not just get everything, right? You can run remote play on your Xbox console or your PlayStation console from your phone, and then you just need the controller around it. And there's peripherals that do that. So it just seems like a better option. If they open this up to other platforms, that'd be good, but they don't do that either, right? So it's really locked to PlayStation. Yeah. Like, why not open it up to other cloud services? Oh, because then people will go to other platforms and they don't like that, right? That's a typical, like, PlayStation mentality.
Yeah.
It is what it is. I don't want to badmouth them that much.
No, it's not even really about bad mouthing. It is about bad mouthing the device itself, because it seems rather pointless to many of us out here.
Yeah.
Because I could see the lag when he's playing. Now he's playing on Wi-Fi away from home, and I could still see the lag. And I'm just like, why? Why would they not make a native device again? Why not another type of Vita or something? Like this to me seems like something that maybe a lot of people will buy, but many might even return.
Yeah, and we'll see what
See,
the
here's
returns
the
are
thumbs
like,
up
right?
bullshit again.
Oh, it came back.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh
I don't
man.
know what that is. I didn't touch anything either, so that's weird. I'm gonna kill somebody. Anyways.
Yeah, so like I think it will get some returns. I think people were thinking it is like a Vita, and they'll find out nope, it's not. But hey, well, we'll see what it does. I
Yeah.
just don't see the value of it, especially when you have those other like backbone type things where you can just plug it into your phone and play whatever you want to play, and you don't have to bother getting a separate screen. Now, this being at home, I don't get it. Like I don't want to play my game remotely on a smaller screen when I have my 77-inch TV.
Yep.
It's like I just
Exactly.
why would I do that? Like just for PC, I have a 48-inch TV, and that's my monitor for my computer, and I'm like, I don't even want that. I have a separate PC just to play video games, and that's connected to my 77-inch TV because I want it on my 77-inch TV. I just want the big screen to play, and I like going down to an 8-inch. I don't like it. I don't play the Switch games like that either. I have it connected, docked. It's connected to my 77-inch. That's how I play my games, right? So I want the large screen. It just makes it more immersive. But hey, if this works for you, great. The other part was like the headphones thing, right? You have to have specific headphones to get audio. Okay, whatever, right? That's another little gotcha. But I mean, hey, if you want to spend the money to do that, fair enough. I just think it's better to get a like I have the Rogue Ally, which plays everything, including PlayStation games, because you could do remote, you could do the games that actually come on PC. You just buy them, right? But you can remote play, and that's available. So if you want to do that, you can do that. Play them natively.
Yep.
You got enough oomph. It's very close to a PS5 in performance. So if you really want to, and it's a small screen, right? So if that's what you want, fair enough. You got the option. But I don't see the value of this. But if other people do, good for them.
Yeah. If you honestly like it, and it's because you can play on the couch next to your PS5, so be it.
And the thing came back. Wow.
Yeah. I do not understand this stupid thing.
The checkbox.
Yeah.
Like
I mean, what is going on? Good job, you did it.
Yay!
Yeah, that's what it reminds me of. Yeah, I'm gonna turn
what
that
the heck's
off
going on with that? It's kind of weird.
sucks. Yeah, it is really weird. But there's nothing I can do about it. Anyways, it's so distracting. It really is. All right, so yeah, so it is what it is. If you like the PS Portal and that's your thing, by all means, go for it. I'm not going to tell you you're wrong. I'm just giving you my opinion. So is Hargeet. That's all we're doing here. I don't understand it. It's not for me. Let's talk about something that everybody wants to talk about right now. Let's talk about the Xbox tax. Why don't we talk about the Xbox tax, people?
Yikes.
Apparently there's this, tax that's going around. And, Xbox is being taxed somehow. I don't know. Look, I heard about this, and I don't get this whole Xbox tax thing, Hargeet, but I saw it was even trending on Twitter. Can you explain to me what this Xbox tax is?
Well, okay. So essentially, and I've been saying this for a while, the media has been sort of aligned to a PlayStation-centric world for a bit now, right? And there are certain media outlets that are more PlayStation favored, right? So they like PlayStation games. They've favored the platform for a while. Those the games and the platform have buttered their so they make money off of the fact that PlayStation gamers go to them, right? So they are bias is conscious or unconscious. I think it's unconscious, but they have a tendency to forgive certain things on the PlayStation side, not so much on the Xbox side. So every little thing that's potentially a ding might get like sort of forgotten about on this side, but on this side it's like, oh no, we have to call this out. This is bad.
Yeah.
Right. And it's not like I would expect this to be like, hey, a game is an 8, we'll give it a 2, but an 8 might become a 7.5. Right.
Yeah.
And because they'll just add a few little dings, and it's like, well, yeah, but they really should have done these things better. There's some fairness to that. It's a reality, right? But there's an unlevel playing field then. And you're like, well, okay, so I can kind of expect at an aggregate, right? I'm not expecting IGN does this every day. But there are outlets that are specifically named after PlayStation. And you're like, okay, they're going to have a little bit of a leaning towards that side, right? And if they're going to rate things, you're going to expect them to have a little bit of a bias, right? And again, it could be very well unconscious, right? That, hey, I just go into this game with like a little bit of skepticism, and every little nitpick that I can come up with will just sour me a little bit more than usual, right? Whereas I play something from PlayStation and I have the opposite. I go in with like, oh, this game is going to be so awesome, I can't wait. And, you play it in that manner and maybe forgive a few little errors and things like that, right? So does that happen? It's just human tendency. We do that, right? So it would be impossible for me to say that there's no bias. There's obviously bias in everything, right? It's just the way it is. Now, how much does that actually impact things? It might slightly do so, right? So, and what I find is like, hey, if a game gets a 90, it probably should have been a 92 or 93. If a game rates at 85, it probably should have been an 88 or 89, right? Something like that. That's what I think it ends up being. It's not going to be massive. You're not jumping from like a Redfall, 56 or 5 or whatever the heck it is, to like an 85. That's not going to happen, right? It's that probably is accurate at that level. So maybe that was a 60 instead of a 55 or whatever the heck it rated at, right? But that's really essentially it, right? So is there a bias? Yes. Is there a tax? Yes. But is it huge? No. Like, people seem to think that like Starfield got snubbed.
Well, let's talk about that a second as I try to fix my stupid camera again. So I think the whole Starfield got snubbed is the wrong way to look at it, because you have to understand, you've got well over 100 of these media outlets, some of the same ones that gave Starfield low scores to begin with, that are nominating these things. So to expect Starfield there in the VGA nominations was kind of ridiculous. Therefore, no snub. But that said, do I feel personally like Starfield should be in the Game of the Year contention? Yes, I personally did. For my personal Game of the Years, I think that it should be there. Much more so than even, say, Spider-Man 2, to be honest. And this is not an Xbox versus Sony thing at all. I personally didn't see that Spider-Man 2 was pushing the franchise forward in any real way. Matter of fact, I think the story took a big, huge back step. I think that the story itself, although elements of it were okay, like Kraven and Venom were pretty cool, but there were so many things in that story that were downright cringy at times. Like, I was sitting there going, ew, really? Like, I do not like, and this goes back to 2018 Spider-Man. I am a fan of the franchise in the fact that I like the combat. I have a lot of fun fighting as Spider-Man. I do not like the way Insomniac has written Peter Parker since the beginning. I don't like him. I don't like his character. I don't like Mary Jane in this universe. In Insomniac's universe, I can't stand Peter Parker and Mary Jane. That's why when they came out and said that they were moving forward with Miles Morales, I'm okay with that, because I actually prefer Miles Morales. I think he's better written. I don't like his voice all that much in the game, but I've gotten past that. I think he's much more well written, and I think they do that purposely because they were pushing you towards him the whole time.
Yeah,
I think they wanted to write out Peter Parker. Like, I don't know their whole story with that, but I'm just saying, at the end of the day, I don't feel that should be nominated personally, because again, it felt a lot like 2018 Spider-Man. The traversal was better. but the combat was still really the same. It was the same game pretty much. I don't understand the nomination there. I don't understand the nomination with Resident Evil 4 as well. Remakes for me, man, they've got to be something special for you to be able to nominate a remake, in my opinion. Like, it's got to be overhauled completely and just like blow your mind special. And I don't think that was done. Even though the game is great, not putting it down in any way. I'm just saying, I don't think Resident Evil 4 should have made it over Starfield. I don't think Spider-Man 2 should have made it over Starfield. I don't think Alan Wake 2 should have made it over Starfield. But these are personal opinions now. This is not something I think that, oh, they should have never voted on that. This is me talking. I think at the end of the day, those games, Remedy, I don't like Remedy games anyway. I think they make the most boring games out there. I think they are very, I don't know. But I just don't care for Alan Wake 2. Don't care for it.
Yeah, so I haven't played Alan Wake. I haven't played Spider-Man, so I'm not going to talk too much about those as far as their quality because I don't want to talk about a game I haven't played.
Oh, they're quality games. I have to say that. They're quality games. Well, there was a lot of bugs in Spider-Man that at first I didn't have, but playing more into it, oh my God, they were piling up towards the end. And I was like, really? Okay.
I have RE4 thanks to Jedi Knight Peter who gave it to me. But I played the original, so I know the quality of the game. I know it's very good. And I'm with you. So I was iffy on do you actually rate your remakes as far as game of the year? It's a tough one. I understand there's some games that do substantially change. This one did not. It's 95% the same. So if it's not going to be a substantial difference, it is very hard for me to say that that's a good idea. Now, if there were no other games that were, stellar this year, it's like, okay, you put that in there. They didn't put an indie in, right? There's massive franchise games that came out like Diablo, Hi-Fi Rush should have been a consideration. Certainly Starfield, Jedi Survivor, and I could go on. Hogwarts. There's so many games that you could have looked at to say, hey, why not one of those instead of the remake? I going into this, by the way, just to be clear, this was the list I expected outside of RE4. I knew for me, RE4,
you expected Alan Wake 2 to be in there?
100%. Once Alan Wake landed the way it did, my list was BG3, Spider-Man, Alan Wake, Mario, and Zelda. I already knew that was going to be the answers, but I expected RE was going to be a Sea of Stars or something along those lines, like a Cocoon or something like that, right? I thought they were going to pick an indie. They didn't. They usually pick an indie. They didn't pick an indie this time. Okay, fair enough. But I think picking a remake was actually a bad decision in this year, just because there's so many games they could have chosen.
Let's view them all here.
So
let me pull them up.
Right? And they chose not to look at those. And that, I think, so even if you take Dave the Diver, not an indie, but take Dave the Diver, that's also very highly rated. And they did not include that one. So,
what's incredible to me, though? Right. What's incredible to me is Nintendo gets a lot of hate, but yet they've got two nominations for Game of the Year. And again, like, I'm not a big fan of this Tears of the Kingdom, but I can understand the accolades. I see the push forward in that franchise. I don't see it in Marvel's Spider-Man 2. Alan Wake 2, again, this is personal feelings. Resident Evil 4, I think remakes again. Man, you have to make a very compelling case for remakes to get Game of the Year.
Yeah, like me. Final Fantasy VII would be one of those, right? Where you're like, okay, you've substantially changed.
Just substantially,
maybe it's worth it, right? But I still think it'd be better to have a separate category, right? Because this is becoming more and more common. So if you're going to do that, then fine. Let's just have a separate category for, best remake, right? Because the original game had its chance when it came out to be a part of the Game of the Year or RPG of the Year or Action Game of the Year. I think it should be, those categories should be for games that were brand new this year.
Agreed.
Right, not a remake. It just sort of cheapens the Game of the Year, not that genre nod, because you're saying something that was 20 years old or 10 years old or whatever that was already fantastic took over and said, hey, I'm going to wipe out all the players from this year. That's just not fair, because then you would basically just go back and say, let's take every 95 plus meta game and just keep remaking them over and over and over again, and that will always win. Well, that's stupid, right? So I don't think that's a great way to go. You want to reward people for going, beyond the norms and creating something new, right? That's what you want to do, right? So because otherwise would incentivize the bad thing. We don't want remake.
Exactly. Exactly. Good, by the way, Hargeet. No. You're 100% correct on that, right? It's the whole situation with PlayStation right now that people are talking about. Even some PlayStation guys I've seen on Twitter, they're talking about The Last of Us 2 remaster. And it's like, well, herein lies the problem, folks. You continue to buy these remasters over and over. You are just making these developers complacent into giving you more and more of those remasters. Right. It's easy business for them. Like, why not? And that was something I was going to bring up earlier, and that was a topic that I got erased on accident, and I forgot about it, but I'm glad I just remembered that whole The Last of Us 2 remake that's coming out for the PlayStation 5. A lot of people are telling me the defense is, well, it's only $10 to upgrade. And I hate that people say that, because these upgrades should be free, man. These upgrades should not be charging, because these upgrades are there on the PC version. Like it's there. It's the same game. They're not really putting in any more work into that game. It's done for the PC. It's already there. So if you look at the flip side though, and you see what they've given you though for the $10, this is a little bit different. So they give you a new mode in the game wherein you can play any character in the game, or a bunch of the different characters within the game, in sort of a horde mode type scenario. And for $10, if you think that is worth it, then by all means, at least they're giving you something different there. I could appreciate that, because they're not giving you factions. They're not giving you factions too. Let's face it. They're giving you this mode, this horde mode, instead of a real like multiplayer factions 2 mode that everybody's been waiting for. So I think it's kind of a slap in the face too. It's odd, but if you think that's worth the $10,
was intended to be a part of this.
I think factions was intended to be part of this. Yeah. I really do. I really do.
Pulled.
So, it got pulled. It's that Bungie factor. They came in and said, nah.
Yeah.
And ever since we heard that about Bungie, it basically got canceled. That's what happened.
I know this isn't a topic, but that whole Bungie thing with Sony, I'm wondering where that ends up, right? Because consider that they came in and told all their other studios that are world-class studios that make like Game of the Year games, right?
Mm-hmm.
That, hey, you're being told to make games as a service games. We're going to teach you how to make that.
Yep.
First, how do you take that as a world-class studio? Do you sit there and say, oh, yeah, we need to learn from you? Or do you say, screw off, Bungie, we know how to make games? So where does that leave them, right? So is Bungie like the redheaded stepchild that like everybody hates? Or
no,
are they like
no, you're not even touching upon the other thing that I could see the other developers like reacting in that way towards them. Think about it. They're the only development studio within Sony that are still third party.
Yeah, they can publish wherever they want.
They basically have the rights to everything still. They can do what they want. They got a sweet deal, Hargeet. Bungie came in there and said, okay, you're going to pay us all this money to make us be the same? Okay.
Yeah.
Let's do it. And
go tell your studios how to make games.
Yeah. I mean, but that's essentially what they bought them for too, is that knowledge of the multiplayer aspect. They wanted them to go in and teach their, other developers what is a good multiplayer game and what isn't. And
then you find out that
just the way it is.
They're having trouble and they have to lay off people.
Yeah,
and their profits are down substantially, right? It's like, okay, well,
well, that's why it makes sense now when you think of everything they've been doing lately. And by the way, I think I fixed my camera. No more thumbs up.
Yes,
love it.
Great.
So I think with it, it's funny because you look back at all the price hikes that Sony's been doing, and you're like, oh, it makes sense now. They have to do this. They're losing money.
Yeah. It is an interesting place for them to be right now, right? And the Call of Duty thing might might flip a little bit, right? So there may be more.
Oh, especially when
it
Call of Duty is like their best
in Game
selling
Pass,
game
right?
ever. Like every year, it's their best selling
So
game.
and like they're finding out that, hey, making games as a service isn't a joke,
It's
and if you're
tough.
gonna do that, it's especially when you're telling studios that know how to make very good single player games, it may not work out. It's just not an easy thing to do, right? So we'll see if all that works out for them or not. According to, is it Hiroki Totoki? Is that the name of the guy?
Yes,
The guy
Hiroki
that's coming in to
Totoki.
replace
Yeah, I love that guy's
replace
name.
I know, right? Is coming in to replace Jim Ryan. They're kind of continuing down that path, but they've delayed some of their games. They have 12 of them in the works, and they're trying to release 6 of them by 2025, I think it was.
Yeah,
So we'll see if they get those out and see what kind of what kind of games they are and how well they actually turn out. That
yeah.
games as a service are very hit or miss. A lot of
Oh,
them
it's
miss.
hard. It's hard to find
Very
that,
hard to go. Yeah.
that
So
Fortnite or that Apex even,
yeah, and I think if you try to take an existing IP and try to make something of it like that, it's very, very hard to do. It's much better to try something totally new, and you can design the whole game around it, right? It just makes it work better, right? So you don't get constrained by, hey, I don't want to make my Spider-Man have a weird, I don't know, Mario suit or something weird,
Yeah.
right? So,
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
you can't do that kind of thing, right? Because it's Spider-Man, right? So you have to be careful with those kind of things, right? So I don't know. We'll see what that comes out to be like. We'll see
Yeah.
what they want to end up making there. But it is going to be an interesting. So I'm just curious what happens with Bungie. And are they more ostracized within Sony, or are they actually still helping all those studios? Or is this all going to change in the next year or so as they find a new CEO to sort of take over?
Yeah, and especially if they're going to go more, if they're going to start backing off some of the gas and everything, they've got to, they've got to covet Bungie a lot more there at Sony, because if you think about it, that's their bread and butter right now. Is their destiny.
Yeah.
So they're banking heavily on Marathon. I guarantee it, bro.
And heavily. Marathon's the rumor at least was that so they've had some people play it and they didn't like it, right? The streamers, I think it was streamers, right? Who played it didn't like it. So that's another headache for them, right? So they're going back to the drawing board. It's being delayed a little bit. Look, even though it's Bungie, it's not guaranteed that the next game they make is going to hit.
I'm hoping that Marathon does hit, though. I really am. Not just for their sake, but for my sake as well. I want to play another Bungie game. Like I loved Bungie back in the day. Like,
I know.
Halo is incredible. Like Halo was the game, man. Like back in the day, you just don't know that on the OG Xbox, Halo was my shit, man.
It was so awesome.
And by the way, I do have to say, I heard that the Halo multiplayer today is amazing.
It is.
Like,
it is.
I'm hearing it's the best Halo it's ever been right now.
Yeah, come back. It's good, and I can't wait for them to put out the official firefight, the horde mode that's in Halo. There are already community maps that do it, and it's so much fun. I can't wait for the actual firefight.
And you know what? And I kind of like, I have to say too, because we were talking about this in a WhatsApp group with me, Gaz, and Colt, and other people as well. Me and Colt are of the same mind here, but the rest of them were kind of against it because they're more Halo purists than we are. But this is just for the multiplayer, not the campaign. I like what they're doing with the different skins and stuff with the Spartan suits, but I think they should go even further. And I mentioned this in the group chat, and Colt was all on board with it, by the way. So, Colt, if I'm throwing you under the bus, I'm sorry, but you were on board with this. Zocker wasn't. Gaz wasn't. Gaz wasn't, for sure. I don't know about Zocker. But I said that they should. No, Zocker was on board with it, by the way. They should add some of their characters from their other franchises into the multiplayer modes of Halo. Why not have like Marcus Phoenix in a Spartan suit? Like, change it up a bit. And his proportions and stuff. I could see them doing that. You could do that with certain faces from COD, certain characters from there. They've got the whole ABK, characters suite to pull from as well. And there's so much they can do to add weapon variety and all kinds of stuff within multiplayer Halo. Why not? Or at least have a mode for that. You could have a
Yeah, they
purist
could have a
mode.
whole new thing that encompasses all of them, right? And I don't know if it would be Halo. So you have to pick
Or
what the
even
game
another
mechanic
game
would
with
be.
all their, like a battle
Exactly,
royale
right?
with all
They
their
have
characters.
so much opportunity, right?
That's something that Zakra was bringing up too. They could have a battle royale with all their
Yeah, with
characters.
like all sorts of different
Yep.
things. And would they all have different game mechanics? Would you have like a Call of Duty with a very
Gears.
fast kill? Or Gears, where you have a lot more potential to stay alive, but whatever, you know what I mean. And Halo, you have shields, and or you could have Halo ODST characters too, right? Which we don't really explore much, but you
Yeah.
could have non Spartans, and you could have other like Covenant characters or whatever, right? There's so much potential for something like that.
Yep.
It's whether they want to do it or not. Certainly an option for them to do it, right? So
I think you could bring in a lot of new players with that kind of stuff because it works for other games like Fortnite, you know?
Yeah.
It works.
And then you could bring in more and more stuff, add in more purchases, right? To get different
Well,
things.
Magnum, that's why we said it doesn't even necessarily have to be in the Halo, multiplayer.
doesn't
You
have
can
to be,
make its own game, but make like a battle royale with all their different characters. I think it would be unique and it would work. They have so many characters to pull from now. They own pretty much everybody now. They can pull every like character out there.
They do have a lot, yeah. And they got Doom. You got like Wolfenstein. What's his name? Whatever. What is his name? Well, I can't remember. Whatever.
Yeah,
the Wolfenstein character.
Yeah, and Doom guy from Doom. So
yeah.
They could do
but anyway,
that as
so
well.
there's plenty of potential there, right?
But before,
they also own Dishonored and all that. So
yeah, let's go ahead and move on with this topic. First, let me get some super chats real quick. I had one earlier from Sith Lord celebrating 1 month of membership. He said, "Fonz, you are the man. I'm thankful for knowing you." Oh, thank you very much, man. I appreciate you. And likewise, man. He's a good dude. Sith Lord is always talking to me behind the scenes and stuff. Great guy. Great guy. Also have Jerry here. What's up, Jerry? Thank you for tuning in today. I appreciate you, brother. He says, nothing but love for you and yours, Fonz, and guest Hargeet. Hoping for nothing but the best for you, man. This VGA belongs to BG3, in my opinion. I agree. 100%. I disagree. think out of all this list, I will say, I think Baldur's Gate 3 should be the runaway
that's
winner.
Tears of the Kingdom for me.
But that's just me.
But again, I haven't played Spider-Man or Alan Wake. They very well could be the right answer. I don't know.
Spartan661, thank you very much for the super chat. He says, Sony is trying their hardest not to be able to have Game Pass to run on their hardware at all cost. Microsoft can and will find a way, and Sony knows it. Hargeet, you think they'll ever find a way to get Game Pass on Sony's hardware?
I mean, maybe, right? It all comes down to what their, long-term, market presence will be, right? So if things start faltering in PlayStation, and look, we're entering an era of unknowns, right? With, Nintendo coming out with hardware that can play all the AAAs, we suddenly find ourselves in a potential where at least Nintendo can challenge PlayStation. If that happens, where do we end up? And you're finding, Fonz, that people are starting to see that PC isn't a bad thing, and that you can pretty much play everything there, right? So PlayStation puts their games on PC, right? Xbox day and date PC. You can play the Nintendo games officially or unofficially on PC.
In 4K and 60 frames.
So just saying, right? So I'm just saying, like, at some point, like, that is taking up a bit of the the space that was the high-end console as well, right? So where does that leave PlayStation if they don't deliver these massive AAA games? Is that going to kind of take away from the buzz? And look, the last year, outside of Spider-Man, they've really had all negative news, right? It's been a pretty bad year for them from a news perspective, and their showcase didn't do well. No. So you just have to look at that, and if the enthusiasm gap keeps going, onwards like that, and the other side keeps showing you all these cool things, right? You got Xbox just continuously giving you news, and even if some of it's bad, a lot of it's good, right? It gives you more enthusiasm to be on that platform. It's just a reality of humanity. We like to go where things are fun. right? That's just the way we are, right? And there might be hardcore gamers like, no, I'm PlayStation until I die. Okay, fine, that's good for you, but the average player doesn't care. They're just trying to play games, right? And so if the enthusiasm is there, they're just going to jump there. That's why the Xbox 360. There were so many games at the beginning of that gen that you're like, holy crap, I got to play that. I got to play that. I got to play. So people just jumped onto it. It is what it is, right? And the same thing can happen here. You have a list of games that Xbox has already announced, and we know they're coming this generation, right? And then you have, well, PlayStation. We have Wolverine, and then a whole bunch of games as a service games, right? And it's like, well, is that going to entice people? Maybe it does, but I don't know if it will, right? I can already tell you Nintendo's console will have another Zelda, another Mario, a Mario Kart, a Pokemon, right? An Animal Crossing. It's going to have those games, right? And those games will sell tens of millions of copies easy, right? So it's going to do well. It doesn't matter, right? So they already have their first part. If they can bring in third parties as well, right? You start getting your Baldur's Gates, you start getting your Resident Evils, and all those start coming. Alan Wake, they're on that platform. Now you have a choice, right? Hey, this platform and Nintendo's console will sell. It will sell pretty well. Is an option for a lot of people. Hey, I bought it for the family. Hey, I can play Call of Duty there too, and I can snipe in some time here and maybe play a little Alan Wake or whatever, right? Because the console can play it. I don't have to go buy a PS5 justify that. I have it already. I can play it here, right? The Xbox is just like the PlayStation. It's a higher end console. If you're willing to play on that, cool. I don't see it doing Nintendo numbers. I don't think that console is going to sell 100 million consoles, but it doesn't matter to Microsoft. They're selling on PC. They're selling to mobile. They don't care. They have cloud. They want you to just engage with us. That's it. That's all they want, right?
Yeah.
Their revenue is already going to be beating PlayStation because they bought ABK. So they're already there on a profit basis. I think just ABK generates so much profit that beats PlayStation on top of the profits they were making on Xbox anyway, right? So they're looking good.
Yeah, we'll see
right?
what happens.
It doesn't really matter to them. So they're happy where they are, right? They'll keep selling their consoles. They'll keep selling on PC, on mobile. They'll keep doing their thing. Nintendo will start to bring in something that can play everything. It's what's PlayStation's future, and they have to kind of detail that for people so that they keep staying on the platform. Again, they're hardcore. They're going to stay there. But I decided, hey, you know what? They put their games on PC. I'm just going to play there, right? Because now I have the dual option. I want to play on console for some games, but if the game is going to run better, as you're finding out, on PC, I'm just going to go to the PC, right? I've got it. So I'll just play it on the PC, right? And so I'll play like a third of my games or a quarter of my games on PC, but the majority, of course, will still be on the Xbox and the Switch games. I'll play those over there. So this is an interesting time for them, right? We'll see what happens as far as where PlayStation's market is. But so do I think Game Pass will end up on PlayStation? If it saves PlayStation, yes. If it doesn't, if it's not useful to them, then no. So
yeah,
I think there might be more potential with Switch.
Yeah, I don't think it will show up on PlayStation. I don't think. I think they're too prideful for that. It's not going to happen. William Lewis,
being the current management, which is going away. Just keep that in mind, right?
We'll say, but again, I don't see it, man. I don't see it. William Lewis, thank you very much for the $2 super chat. He says should be categories. Best new IP and best remake. Oh yeah, there should be like a best remake. There should
get rid of the damn esports. I know they make money off of it. I get it, but who cares?
Spartan661 again. Thank you very much for the super chat. He says Microsoft figured out how to play on the Apple iOS. Yeah. A lot of people have. GeForce Now did the same thing that they did with xCloud. So GeForce Now is the same thing. You go to the browser. You download, you don't even download, you pin
just go to the
browser to your home page on your phone, and then it's like a little app you open up. Yeah, that's all it is. Yeah. So yeah, they figured that out. Now, one thing I want to talk about here real quick before we get back into these nominees is we were talking about the Xbox tax earlier. And one thing I wanted to bring up is I don't necessarily believe in an Xbox tax. I think where people have it twisted is there's sort of a PlayStation tax. And let me tell you what I'm talking about here. Is I've seen for years now, and I've heard for years now, from many different reviewers out there. We've seen it all. All of us have seen, witnessed some of this stuff that's happened. If a reviewer rates their games low, they get blacklisted. And I'm wondering if that has anything to do with this so-called tax you're talking about. Because I do sometimes wonder, because I'll be reading some of these reviews for PlayStation games, and they'll be kind of harsh. But then at the end, it's like 8 out of 10. I'm like, what? That review sounded pretty harsh. But yeah, I mean, and I've heard that for many years now, that they do blacklist people for giving low scores. That's not cool.
Yeah, I mean, there's potential for that, right? We've heard of it a little bit here and there from rumors. What was the site? Was it in Australia? I think that Survivor, I think it was
Survivor. Yeah.
Yeah, that ran into that, right? And again, that's one instance. Maybe there are other instances, but okay. So if I had to play devil's advocate for that, didn't they do that with Starfield? Didn't they kind of choose who they were going to give their review codes to? So, I mean, these are just games that these publishers play. So I don't know that it's entirely fair to just say that they're the ones doing it. I think they do it more, and they potentially have enough leverage to do that because they're, they were one of the biggest gaming companies. Maybe that continues. Maybe there is a little bit to say that is a potential, right? That the games get rated a little higher than they should. That does tend to be the case, but they also have a lot of negative rated games, which we just tend to ignore because we only look at the big games.
And when we say negative rated, they don't really have, like, even Xbox doesn't really have a bunch of games that are rated like in the 60s or 40s. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, it's not that crazy for either of them. Yeah, but I have heard that for many years though, from reviewers that said that, blacklisting is possible with Sony if you give them a low score.
Yeah.
And that is that's not cool to me at all. That's weird. It's really weird.
And so Nintendo has some games that are also rated pretty poorly. But this is kind of the way it goes, right? Like Destruction All-Stars rated pretty crappy, right? There are others like that get pretty low ratings.
But are we talking about is Destruction All-Stars made by a first-party studio, or is it?
No.
See, that's the thing. Like,
no.
That's where I think lies the problem. Is maybe say for Spider-Man 2. If somebody were to really rate that low, they probably won't get the next copy of a Sony first-party game.
That may be, right?
Who
knows? If I look at their list of first-party only games, you're right. Almost all of them rate pretty well outside of MLB. MLB The Show has a couple of 70s. But by and large, they're in the 80s and 90s, right? So most of their games are in the 80s. They have a couple of 90s. And then if you look at Xbox, it's very similar. They have a couple of outliers with Elder Scrolls V Anniversary Edition came out, and that rated a 73, and that is a first-party release. Redfall, which was 56, 7, whatever it is. And then Modern Warfare 3 that just came out. Is a 55, 6, no 59, something like that.
But oh my god, it's definitely an Xbox game, right? Because it rated low. But had that rated high, I guarantee you there'd be people out there screaming at the freaking mountains. It has nothing to do with
Xbox. It was already in the works. Oh, okay. Yeah, it's bad. Exactly. It's everything to do with Xbox. Phil Spencer destroyed Call of Duty. Okay,
this is how silly the console wars are. That's why I don't like them. It's dumb. Yeah. Like, just be honest with yourself. If you don't like something from the companies, speak on it. But let's not just do it just to hear yourself scream about that company because you, I don't know, hate them. It's weird. I could give you the aggregate. I actually have been tracking this. So since the series consoles and PlayStation 5 have come out, the aggregate meta without any remasters, Xbox is 81.5, PlayStation's 84.8, Nintendo 79.3. Damn, kind of Nintendo's even lower. Wow.
Yeah. Even though they have some games that are stellar, they have a bunch that are not. So
and I think even the stellar games sometimes get knocked a bit for the performance on some of them. That's because it's the hardware. If they got better hardware, the Switch 2 should alleviate a lot of their issues.
It will, yeah.
So that's what I'm looking forward to. Because even if it's as powerful as a PlayStation 4, that's a huge upgrade over the Switch. Huge upgrade. So I'm looking forward to that. because I know I'll be able to play that on my TV, and we'll see more multiplats go that way too. So more competition. It's nice. Not that they need competition; they're ahead of everybody, but it is what it is. So that was the nominations for the Game of the Year. But let's take a look at some others, because some others I'm confused about. Like we've got Best Game Direction, which I don't agree with Spider-Man here, because again, this falls under sort of and we'll get to the narrative category, but this kind of falls under that a bit. Like I didn't like the way this game was, I don't know, paced within the story, and
got it.
I didn't care for it.
I mean, they combine multiple things. If you read what it says, right? It's outstanding creative vision. Okay, that's one thing, and then another one is game direction and design. And I think one of the faults we're seeing is that they really need to kind of expand the categories and not collapse them, right? Because you have a couple of those where it's like, well, like you'll probably get to a best ongoing game includes DLC, because where else would you put it? And they really should just have, excellent DLC or best DLC that came out this year as a separate category. You know what I mean? It's
best direction, though, it encompasses so much, though. Like that does tap into other, nominations and stuff. It just, I don't know, but I don't know. Alan Wake 2, I've not played through that, so I don't know if that belongs there. But Baldur's Gate 3, still believe it does. It's amazing. Yeah. It's got a lot of great design and direction for sure. Creative vision as well. I think I'm going to go out on a limb and just say I think Baldur's Gate's going to sweep a lot. That's what I think.
Probably. You can just read the room. It probably will. But we'll see.
This is the one I laughed at. And I don't take too much issue with the VGAs or the Keeleys, because again, years ago I stopped caring about this show. Because I mean, I don't believe in it because of some of the nominations they give Game of the Year and stuff. It's just stupid to me, but it is what it is. But this made me laugh. Best narrative, and they put Marvel's Spider-Man 2 in this category. And I think it was a horrible narrative. Again, I know people out there that say they loved it and stuff, but man, I know a lot of people that hated it just as I did. It's just not good. The side missions are even worse than the main story. Like the side missions are horrible in this game. Like the worst.
I think they're only going to look at the main mission, right? The main.
Yeah, of course. But even then, like I said, you got Kraven and Venom that are cool.
Yeah.
But outside of those two characters, the main protagonists in this game, which there are 3, not just Peter and Miles, you've got MJ thrown into the mix. You've already seen the video of that guy, the developer who's Insomniac, that said that he didn't give a shit if MJ was OP in the game. Yeah. It was just terrible. Like,
I mean, I kind of expect it to be here. It just is what it is, right? So it's the big Sony game. It's gonna be here. Weird. So, and Final Fantasy 16, apparently the story was pretty good. Phantom Liberty.
Yeah, I think the story was good with Final Fantasy, but overall I just didn't care for the gameplay. But that's just a me problem. I don't like the gameplay. Every boss was a quick time event, which it's all about spectacle in that game. That's what it was about. And if they're going for that, then so be it. They're in there. Cyberpunk definitely should be in there. Cyberpunk is incredible.
Have you played Phantom Liberty?
No, I have not played Phantom Liberty, but I've heard from friends that have played it that told me that it's really good, really incredible, fun game. Idris Elba is amazing in the game, so that's cool. That's why he got nominated for best voice or whatever, voice actor. Best art direction, of course, we have Zelda is here a lot too in a lot of categories. Do you think that Zelda should be up there for best art direction when the game is very much Breath of the Wild?
Yeah.
Nothing's really changed here.
Well, is that really fair though, right? Because they have a totally different narrative. You're in different worlds as far as the top and the bottom. You're doing different things and getting different powers. So I don't know. I think it as far as art direction, there's certainly different things than Breath of the Wild in here.
Hmm.
So I wouldn't say it shouldn't be. I would say Mario is more unique. I would say Hi-Fi is more unique. I haven't played Lies of P, but I'm guessing it's also got some pretty unique art to it, right? And Alan Wake's Alan Wake, so it should be pretty good. So I don't know. The category looks okay to me, but
Yeah,
maybe Zelda
I
could
don't
be
know.
replaced with something different. That's always
Yeah, because the other games do look incredible. Like they had some good art and design in this game for sure. On all these
yeah.
games,
And I guess if
Hi-Fi
you have to
Rush,
think about
I
it,
even think Hi-Fi Rush was cool. The art design in this
yeah.
game is really cool.
Would you think of games like Jedi Survivor or Hogwarts? Even, they're borrowing from actual IP, but they did a
Yeah,
pretty good job bringing those in. Would you take that and say, well, hey, but maybe it isn't new, right? Because it's
yeah.
not.
Like I said, the only one I had an issue with is probably Tears of the Kingdom. Outside of that, I think it's a pretty good list. It's solid. I don't have a problem with it.
Yeah.
By the way, Magnum Westward in the chat said, if MJ was a single mom, you would have loved this narrative. No, but that's the thing though. It was close. I got a 40-year-old MJ in the game because she looked damn near 40 years old in that game. It was really off-putting the way she looked. But that aside, it's MJ was written poorly, just like Peter was. They had so much cringe dialogue between each other. And, I'm not trying to spoil anything, but you know exactly what I'm talking about, especially with one particular altercation. It was so freaking cringe. And I wish I could just blow it up and say it, but man, it was so terrible. The writing in that part. It was horrible. And if anybody defended that, they're just being ignorant because it was bad writing. It was terrible. Yeah, I don't like the narrative in that game at all. I think the writing between Peter and MJ was just horrid, just bad. It's almost like some scorned woman wrote that. Honestly, that's the way I take it. Somebody that was like, I don't know, cheated on or something, like wrote that story between them two, or just doesn't have a love interest, doesn't know anything about it, or I don't know. That's the way I take it. It's just terrible writing. Terrible. And I call it when I see it. Like I said the same thing with The Last of Us writing, part 2. I thought that was horrible. But we know who wrote that, Neil, and we know who he's best friends with as well. So we understand what's going on there. Let's talk about, let me get to the super chat here. William Lewis, thank you very much for the $5, brother. He says, and when BG3 wins all of these awards, PlayStation fanboys will claim as a console exclusive because it's not on Xbox yet. That's true. That's going to happen, but who cares? Yeah. You know what's funny, Hargeet? It's funny because I was on Twitter and I was saying I was playing Baldur's Gate. Didn't say where I was playing it, right? But I got a bunch of PlayStation guys saying, you're finally playing a good RPG. You're finally playing a good RPG. And I'm just laughing, going, these guys think I'm playing on PlayStation.
Yeah.
Stupid. It's just weird. Anyways.
But that's the way it goes, right? Console war stuff. It's like, did you play it?
It's dumb. It's dumb. But no, look, this is fine. This category is fine here. Let's go to the next one here. We got best score in music.
This one's a little odd to me in that I think Starfield should have been here.
I think so too.
Score should have been here.
I think their music was freaking phenomenal in that game.
I didn't find it, like, again, the whole game to me was crap. Baldur's Gate just did not do anything for me. I haven't played Alan Wake, so I can't say anything about that. Final Fantasy, from the clips I saw, it actually sounded pretty good. So I'm assuming its score is really good. Hi-Fi's obvious. Right?
Here's where you're gonna
sound-based game.
Here's where you're gonna be shocked.
Yeah,
I like Baldur's Gate 3's score. I like their music in the game, but I think Starfield's music was better.
Yeah,
I think overall the job that composer did was awesome in Starfield.
Yeah,
amazing. It fit the game so well, and it was, dude, everything about that music, the ambient music, everything that played within that game was just so on point. I loved the music in Starfield. I think that was a snubbery if I ever saw one. I think that should have been in best score in music for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
Now there's the other ones that are obvious that I don't know if you put them here or not. I don't know if it's supposed to be best original. It says outstanding original song and a licensed soundtrack. Okay, in that case, I have to say, how do you snub Star Wars? Does that not have the most iconic soundtrack period? How do you take Hogwarts and not put that in there?
Yeah. Well, we know, iconic. You know what? I'll go again and say that I think Hogwarts, we know why that was snubbed for a lot.
And okay, if that's the case, right? And if that really is the case, that's stupid.
It was really stupid. The whole controversy surrounding Hogwarts Legacy was completely blown out of proportion and just dumb. The game was incredible. One of the best games of the year. That should have been up for Game of the Year as well. I feel anyway. It's in my Game of the Year.
But at least something on the side like this. Like, what does that mean? Like, who cares? Like, just at least recognize something, right? I mean, okay, whatever. Off of soapbox. But anyway.
Yeah. No.
I actually am not sure if Zelda should be there. I'm trying to think of how unique it was to this game because a lot of it was borrowed from Breath of the Wild. So
that's what I'm saying.
There were some unique pieces, but I don't know if it warrants it here. I think this one, I would have rather had Starfield than Zelda.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. So best audio design. Now here's a category I don't have a problem with Spider-Man 2 in. It had great audio design. It had great, the sounds of the combat, everything. It was great. Sounds of the city. It was all good. Don't have a problem with that. Dead Space, definitely. I don't know if
anything else would make sense here. I mean, it's pretty good, right? So
yeah, I don't have a problem with this one. Let's move on. Best performance, of course.
Yeah, I don't know if there was anything that was outstanding beyond that, but whatever.
Yeah. Best performance we have, of course, Ben Starr from Final Fantasy 16, which my good my good friend Ian out there of Legendary Drops is hoping wins. He loves that game, and he loved his performance as what's his name? Clive. Clive was his name in the game. We've got Cameron Monaghan, Star Wars Jedi Survivor. I mean, he's okay, but he's not a standout to me in this category.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just me. Idris Elba. I heard he did a phenomenal job in Phantom Liberty. Melanie Liebert, Alan Wake 2 or Liebert. I don't know how you say that, but she, of course, is the main protagonist voice. Neil Newbon, Baldur's Gate 3. He played Astarion, I believe, and he did a phenomenal job. So, I could see him in there as well, winning. Yuri Lowenthal, Marvel's Spider-Man 2. Yeah. He did a great job, too. I believe he was the voice of Kraven, I believe. I'm not sure. Not too sure. Somebody can correct me if I'm wrong there. But, yeah, you got an issue with any of these? Somebody you thought this should be in here?
Not really. I don't generally play a lot of games that are cinematic. So, these are fine, right? I don't know. Like,
they're fine.
Again,
they're fine.
I might not have seen a lot of the Baldur's Gate 3 stuff, but I also haven't played Alan Wake or Phantom Liberty yet. I did not play Star Wars Jedi Survivor because I don't like Star Wars. And then I played Final Fantasy 16. So I've played none of these except for Baldur's Gate 3 and didn't like Baldur's Gate 3. So.
Yeah. Innovation in accessibility. This is one that has been in recent years. We've gotten this one, right?
Yeah.
Diablo 4, of course, Forza Motorsport, Hi-Fi Rush, Marvel Spider-Man 2, Mortal Kombat 1, and Street Fighter 6. Yeah, I don't know what they've done for these games in terms of accessibility, but I'm sure they've done a lot. Especially, I do know Forza really pushes for accessibility. So
yeah. I have no way to really rate this, right? It's probably best to ask people who are able issues, right? Whatever the term is for that. But yeah, as to how well this worked out, right? I don't know. So
Yeah, me too. I'm not sure. Games for Impact.
Uh,
Now, when I look at this stuff, I'm like, goodbye Volcano High. What are we doing?
yeah, was
But,
that PlayStation exclusive? I think that was their
yeah, it
PlayStation
was, I
exclusive, right?
think.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
I mean, just look at it.
yeah, yeah.
It's so weird. Every time I see that game, I don't understand these picks. I mean, games for Impact, you got to have a real thought-provoking game here. And
Yeah.
to me, I don't know. I guess a lot of indies do a great job, sometimes better than AAAs in the writing department. So I can see why maybe some of these are up here. So maybe Goodbye Volcano High has some great writing and we just don't know it. We'll never know it because we're not going to play it. Look at it. But yeah, I can't argue. I can't argue with any of these. I don't know. I haven't played them.
I've played Venba because it's in Game Pass.
Okay, so what'd you think? Does it belong here? Is it thought provoking?
Is it thought provoking? Yes.
Okay.
It's an interesting story. But I mean,
great message.
I'd say Starfield is thought provoking.
Yeah, and that's a lot of people, like a lot of naysayers about Starfield will come at me and say, "Oh, the writing sucks in that game." I beg to differ. I think it was really good,
Yeah.
and I love the ending of that game a lot. I think it was really good.
But they're looking specifically for some pro-social thing, and I don't know this category.
Well, then Spider-Man 2 should have been here.
Yeah,
Spider-Man 2 should have been there. I played a few missions where, it really had me thinking. It was very thought-provoking. I was thinking, can I just end myself now? So it should be here. It should be here for real.
Yeah, I don't know. I'll just go with whatever they're saying here. This category is just, it's not for me. I just don't like it.
Best ongoing. This is an interesting one, right? All right, so you have Apex Legends, which is a crazy one to me because I've heard a lot of people are upset with Apex and have been for quite some time.
Okay.
Cyberpunk 2077, Final Fantasy 16, Fortnite, and Genshin Impact.
So, what it says here is outstanding development of ongoing content that evolves the player experience over time. Okay, so what did Cyberpunk 2077 do? Certainly, they added some new capabilities, right?
Well, they fixed their freaking game, Hargeet. It actually works completely now.
Fair enough, but is that really something you should
to praise? I know, right?
Ongoing game,
right?
And
I agree.
Just don't. I don't see it. That's just what you should have delivered in 2020, or you should have delayed the bloody game until you were ready to put it out.
Facts.
Final Fantasy 14, fair enough. That does have a lot of ongoing stuff. Apex has a lot of ongoing stuff. Maybe it didn't resonate, so that's an interesting question. Genshin, I get. Fortnite, I get.
And Final Fantasy 14 as well. Final Fantasy 14 has been huge for many, many years.
But yeah, Cyberpunk here, and this is the one where you say, okay, should you say that DLC is part of this? Like, is an ongoing game a live game where you're getting content every month, every 2 months? Or is it, hey, after 2 years, you got a DLC?
I don't know how they put that.
Right? So I don't know if I agree with Cyberpunk here. I think they should do something with a different category, where you're talking about, DLC or massive updates to a game or something like that. But it's a single player game. It's not a live game, right? So
it's an odd one. It's one that maybe should be replaced with something else. I don't know. Surely not Destiny, because Destiny's been getting a lot of hate lately. So I don't know.
Yeah, and the one that and maybe it's not here, maybe it's community supported, but I still think it should be in here is Halo. Halo has changed dramatically over the last year. And if you are going to recognize Cyberpunk for fixing the issues, why wouldn't you recognize Halo, which not only fixed the issues, it brought players back? I think this is like,
Jerry in the chat says it feels like ongoing it just means DLC. But if that were the case, then I could probably pick better DLC out there than Genshin Impact or Apex Legends.
Yeah, there's a lot of games that have DLC that's pretty good, right? So
Yeah, I don't
it's
know.
hard to say you just limit it to this. But, I don't know. So this is an odd one for me. I don't know what best ongoing. And again, it's open to interpretation because it's the media that rates these things. So
Yep.
some of the media could have said, "Hey, I think Cyberpunk counts here," and they rated it, obviously. So I don't know, but I wouldn't have put Cyberpunk there. I would see Halo getting in here simply because they did finally fix their crap, and it's now in a place where it's good. It's actually
but then
playable
we
and
go
fun.
back to that whole thing we talked about Cyberpunk. Like, okay, so we said that them fixing it, they shouldn't get accolades for that, but 343 should, because they finally got the game, their shit together. Like,
But they're putting content in, right? So in the case of
true,
Cyberpunk,
true.
you have a DLC. In the case of Halo, you have seasons. They've had 3 seasons since the beginning of the year, and they have added a lot of content. Right? It's getting to the point of having plenty of maps and modes, a lot of user generated content. Right? So there's a lot of that in there now, and it's got fun for everybody. Right? So if you want to find something, you probably can find it.
For sure.
So that's why I think it deserves it more than Cyberpunk. And then community support, same thing.
Best community support.
You can't tell me that Halo has not benefited from community. Like, literally are taking maps, modes, content from users who are generating that content in Forge and making it part of the game. I can't. How do you not see that? And I think it's just because this is where that weird Xbox tax comes in. It's not in their minds. It's not in their minds. And if they understood what it was, if they saw it for what it is, they would definitely rate it for what it is. It has changed the game, literally changed the game. So it's much more fun and playable now. How they not recognize Halo here? That to me is a snub. And they recognize Destiny. Destiny is hated by the players right now.
I know. Like, that should be omitted for Halo for sure. It should be.
What are you doing?
Yeah.
After they lay off people, they laid off their community people. Like, that's who they laid off. It's like, come on, really?
They put it in there because they're like, you guys are at least buying all this stuff from us still, even though the player count is dwindling. Those that are still there are whaling it up and buying all this crap we're giving you to buy. So that's.
Or is this the Sony game that has to be?
Baldur's Gate 3 definitely needs to be there though, because Baldur's Gate 3 has been worked on with the community for the last couple of years. It
came out.
This game has been in early access for 2 years,
3 years
plus. Yeah,
3 years. Yeah, it came out in 2020. So it's been around for a bit.
Final Fantasy 14, another, like I said, this game has been ongoing for a long time. It should be there. I'm surprised how many years this has been ongoing. Final Fantasy 14, I played this back on the PS3.
Yeah.
That's what's crazy. This game has been around for a while.
Yeah.
And they've made loads of improvements in that game. See, a lot of people will call me out and say, I don't play this or play that. I've played a lot of different games, people. My wife and I actually played Final Fantasy 14 together for a bit.
Wow. Nice.
Yeah. Yep. It was fun times. Best independent game. We got indie games here. Cocoon.
Except for one of them that's not an indie game, but that's okay.
Cocoon, Dave the Diver, Dredge, Sea of Stars, or Viewfinder. Which one is the one that is not an indie game?
Dave the Diver is from Nexon, which is a big publisher. So that is a AAA game. It's not not an indie. And you don't have to believe me. The developer themselves called it out and said, we're not an indie game.
Wow.
So, so you could maybe consider them AA, but no, they're not an indie game. So that one shouldn't be there. However, it deserves to be nominated somewhere. So fair enough. I have no problem with this list. It's pretty good. So I don't know if you've played any of these or not, but.
No, I have not played any of these. I was looking for something but it's too late now. The time has passed. But I was looking for something. Man, I hate that. But yeah, no, I have not played these at all. I heard Sea of Stars is pretty good.
It is.
I've not played it. What is it like? What kind of game?
It's a turn-based RPG,
Okay.
and I played it after I gave up on Baldur's Gate, and I actually enjoyed that. I'll have a lot more, but then I moved on because of the games that were leaving. I had to immediately switch to Solasta and then Persona. I want to go back to it though because the story seemed like it was going to be fun.
Yeah.
So that one was pretty good. But I haven't finished it, right? But at least I played whatever I played. I liked it.
Yeah.
It was
William Lewis in the chat said he loved Cocoon. Finished that one, he says.
Yeah, that's in Game Pass. So is Sea of Stars. So try it out. Why not? Right? And Cocoon's supposed to be short, but it should be pretty good.
Yeah.
It's from the folks that it's from the two people that that had the team that made Inside and Limbo. One of them went off and made Somerville. The other one made this.
Now this is about the old people that jump into the pool with the alien thing in there and they get young again, right? No, that's the movie Cocoon. It's the old 80s movie I'm reciting there. I'm old. Okay.
Yeah. No, this is a very odd one where you're shifting between universes and you're solving puzzles between different universes. So, but yeah, it looks like it'd be pretty good. Obviously, it rated pretty well and it's being nominated. So. Alex
S in the chat says, Fonz, you can't stop me. I will vote for Spider-Man 2. Go ahead and vote for it, man. Like I said, I don't care who wins at these Keeleys. It's just funny to me sometimes what they pick. Like last year it was Stray. I was like, really? Come on. Best debut indie game. This is for the new indies out there. So again, you have some of the same Cocoon, Dredge, Venba. We've seen that. Pizza Tower here is new, and Viewfinder. Whatever. Yeah. Best mobile game. Final Fantasy. Final Fantasy VII, Ever Crisis, Hello Kitty Island Adventure.
Yeah, that's what I was laughing at. Hello Kitty.
Honkai, Star Rail, Monster Hunter Now, and Terra Nil. All right. What are you going to vote for, people? Get in now. Lock in your votes.
I have played none of these, so I have no idea.
Best VR or AR game for the best game experience playable in virtual or augmented reality, people. So, Gran Turismo 7, Horizon Call of the Mountain, Humanity, Resident Evil Village VR mode, and Synapse. What are you going to choose? Lock in your votes now, folks. Nah, I don't know. I don't play VR. I don't care for it, but not that I don't care for it. I just don't play VR. Just don't do it.
I might get the Quest 3. We'll see. But outside of that, I don't know. Because that one's both AR and VR. AR is the thing that's going to take off. But
well, how are you going to play Horizon Call of the Mountain if you don't get the PlayStation 2 VR? Come on, man. Get with the times. You get to climb freaking mountains in this game.
You know, it's an interesting question of whether they'll bring those to PC, right? They should. They say they bring their games to PC a couple of years later, right? So hopefully they do bring them to PC.
I watched Asa from Game On Daily climb mountains in Horizon Call of the Mountain. And that's what he did, damn it. He just climbed mountains, mountain after mountain, climbing. And I'm just like, wow, you're doing a lot of this on camera, Asa. Yeah. It didn't look fun. It really didn't. Yeah. But whatever. It's there.
You gotta work out.
Best action game. For the best game in the action genre, focused primarily on combat. And here we have Dead Island 2, Armored Core, Ghost Runner 2, Hi-Fi Rush, and Remnant 2. So
these are good, and I don't know which one is the clear winner. I don't know if there is a clear winner.
I hear Armored Core 4 is really good, or 6, right? I heard it's really good.
I can say the same of many of these. Dead Island, those who played it, they seem to like it. Ghost Runner should be pretty good for action. Hi-Fi was pretty good. Remnant 2 should also be pretty good.
I heard that's pretty good too. Yeah.
Yeah. So this is a tough one. I don't know who wins.
Yeah. Who do you think wins, chat? Lock in your votes. No. Best action adventure. All right. So Alan Wake 2, Marvel Spider-Man 2, Resident Evil 4, Star Wars Jedi Survivor, and Legend of Zelda.
Yay.
Best action adventure. Spider-Man 2 is fun. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a very, very fun game. The combat is very fun. It just gets bad when you start playing as MJ and then you're like, It's a little better than the last time we played as her, but
Do you think
still bad.
it would beat the others here? So Alan Wake or Zelda or
What did I
Star
have
Wars?
more fun with overall, even despite the issues I had with Spider-Man? I would say I probably had more fun with Spider-Man than any of them here. Yeah.
Okay, but you haven't played
I haven't played Tears
Zelda,
of the Kingdom or Alan Wake.
Alan Wake. Okay,
But I know I
Alan
won't
Wake.
like Alan Wake 2. I know I won't like that because
Yeah,
I don't like Remedy games. Their style is kind of all the
yeah.
same. Don't like them. But
Interesting.
yeah, I had a lot of fun with
Zelda
Star
might
Wars
win this
too.
one.
Star Wars was great, but I think Spider-Man 2 edges it out for fun for me. Yeah. Best RPG, Baldur's Gate 3, hands down, wins everything it's in my opinion. Final Fantasy 16 here, Lies of
Which is
P,
not
Sea of
really much
Stars,
of an
Starfield.
RPG.
Yeah.
And Lies of P is not an RPG.
Yeah, what is Final Fantasy 16 doing in this category? It is not an
Or Lies
RPG.
of P for that matter.
I haven't played Lies of P yet, but it's more Souls-like, right?
Correct.
So it's why?
So I don't know. I don't know why it's here.
Yeah.
Especially when there are other RPGs that probably should be here. But anyways, whatever. It is what it is. This is
So
what
who
they
do you
rated.
have for this one? Is it Sea of Stars or Starfield for you?
If I had to pick from one of these, it's definitely Starfield. It's so my personal, like, up to Starfield coming out and me playing it, it was Tears of the Kingdom is the game of the year.
Yeah.
And then Starfield edged it out. So Starfield is now my game of the year.
Wow. Okay.
So, and that's saying a lot. I'm a Zelda guy, right? So for me, whatever's left, it's Zelda, because Starfield isn't winning anything.
Yeah.
So I think in this category, as you said, it's going to be Baldur's Crap 3, but it is what it is.
Baldur's Gate, amazing game 3. No, I love Starfield too. It just sucks that Starfield wasn't nominated for more, for sure. But yeah, it is what it is. Best fighting game. I don't really play fighting games anymore. The last time I really played fighting games was with Killer Instinct, which, by the way, Killer Instinct, guys, is getting an update.
Coming. Yeah.
They've got some news, but not only news, they've had some balancing issues they fixed and also some online things they fixed. And they've just reworked the game, and it's also going to be in 4K on the series consoles. So lots of cool stuff coming for Killer Instinct. So look out for that. I think this Wednesday, they're going to have a thing for it, like a little show. I don't know.
Cool.
Some kind of walkthrough with the developers. I think it's Iron Galaxy, right? Developers of, it's Iron Galaxy. What's that?
Did they work on it before? I think they worked on it before.
Yeah. So they've made some changes to the game, some cool updates coming. Hopefully they keep it going, because that honestly, Killer Instinct was one of my favorite fighting games for a while. Me and my son played it a lot back in the day. But yeah, out of this list, it is what it is.
Street Fighter 6 is the highest rated, but it could be Mortal Kombat because it has the story, right? So
Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl. I never saw that one. That's funny. All right, best family game. Okay. Mario Wonder all the way. Mario Wonder.
It's interesting that they have Party Animals in here, which is pretty good. It's a pretty fun family game.
Well, so is Mario Wonder. I played with my wife and kids a couple of weeks ago. It was fun.
You did the local multiplayer, right?
Yep.
The online multiplayer in this is very interesting.
Really?
It's an odd little thing where basically you and a whole bunch of other people around the world are playing the same levels at the same time. If you die, you have the opportunity, if you can get to them, to revive yourself. They can also leave little posts anywhere they want in the level, and you can go to one of those and revive yourself so you don't die, right? It's very cool. You can, of course, help other people as well.
Yeah, so we had a blast playing that. Well, that's one of the things we like to play together. When we do play video games together, it's usually the Switch, and we play like Mario Party, Mario Kart, or Mario Wonder now. So really cool stuff.
Pikmin is no slouch. It's pretty good, but I'd have to give the edge to probably Mario. But Party Animals is pretty good. So and we're all ignoring Sonic, of course.
Yeah, Sonic. I used to love Sonic on the Genesis back in the day. I beat all those games like Sonic 2, Sonic 3. Loved them, but I can't play them again. Like they don't resonate with me anymore. I don't know. Lots of 2D games, side scrollers, I can't play anymore. That's why it really shocked me with Super Mario Wonder. I was like, wow, they did some extra things in here to make me go, wow, they can push this genre forward.
Yep.
So
I don't know if you're interested in it or not, but Super Mario RPG apparently is a pretty good RPG. Did you play that one?
No, I haven't. My son wants to get it though, so probably when he picks it up, I'll try it out.
Give it a chance.
Yeah. All right, so we got best sim or strategy. I don't really care for these types of games, but you probably do, right?
Probably City Skylines. It's going to be probably that one. Company of Heroes did okay. Fire Emblem is pretty good. Pikmin's a lot of fun, but I think it's going to be City Skyline. It probably makes the most sense.
Yeah, probably. All right, let's go on. Best sports and racing.
Another one that should be split up, right? Because you have sports games and racing games. Yeah. So yeah, which one will win in this category? I don't know. I mean, as far as the nominees are fine. I don't know. Maybe Crew Motorfest, I'm guessing. But I have no idea.
Yeah. I don't know. Chat, what say you? Best multiplayer. Now, I have not played the multiplayer aspect or the Baldur's Gate 3 multiplayer yet, but I heard it's incredible to play that way. But I have played the Diablo 4 multiplayer, and I think that is also very, very fun. That's the only, and Mario Wonder, but I'd have to go with Diablo 4 probably for the multiplayer aspect because it's action based. You don't have to wait your turn like with Baldur's Gate multiplayer. So I'd probably go with Diablo 4 here.
Okay, and not Mario.
No, I'll go with Diablo 4. I had a great time with that game. So
I'm gonna pick. I think Party Animals should do it because it's just a fun, multiplayer game, right? So I don't know if you've tried Party Animals or not, but
no, I haven't. I heard it was fun though. I know. I think Cole played that with his kids.
But you might be right. Diablo will probably win it, or Baldur's Gate or something. But
I would go with Diablo 4 here. Street Fighter 6 gets no love.
I think Party Animals get some love here. I think it's a fun little multiplayer game. But anyway, whatever.
Best adaptation, of course. This is recognizing outstanding creative work that faithfully and authentically adapts a video game to another entertainment medium. Jeez, we know why they put this category in here, right?
Yeah, so recognize Sony. Anyway, but
yeah, The Last of Us is going to win it. We know. We don't even have to look at the other. I mean, you got Castlevania Nocturne, you've got Gran Turismo, Last of Us, Super Mario Brothers movie, and Twisted Metal. I heard the Super Mario Brothers movie is incredible, like really fun. I have not watched it, but I heard it was fun. The Last of Us, I didn't care for it. I stopped at episode 6
I would just
or 7.
That Mario wins.
Didn't care.
But anyway,
didn't care for it. But that's gonna win.
Yeah, Last of Us is probably gonna win that. Yeah.
Most anticipated game.
Okay, now this one I do think there's some obvious snubbery going on. You can't tell me that not one Xbox game is anticipated. Not one Xbox game is anticipated. Like, come on. Really?
So how far are these games pushed out to be most anticipated? Like, is this like in the coming year, or is this games coming out in 5 years?
I mean, all the ones that are here are, I think, all releasing next year. Yes.
Okay. In that regard, like, what's coming out next year in terms of like Xbox next year? So, I don't know.
So Hellblade, we don't know if it's exactly there, but Avowed might be coming, right?
Avowed is anticipated heavily from by a lot of people.
What else we got? I doubt people are going to care about Flight Sim 2024, but
yeah. Okay, so we're looking at really Hellblade and Avowed. Let's look at these. We've got Final Fantasy Rebirth. We've got Hades 2. We've got Like a Dragon, Infinite Wealth. We've got Star Wars Outlaws and Tekken 8. Is there anything here that could be omitted in place of like bringing in like Hellblade or Avowed, in your opinion?
So I don't know how big something like a Tekken 8 would be, right? So to me, a fighting game generally is a simpler genre, so I would
I
expect
think so too.
Hellblade instead of Tekken 8.
I think
But
so too.
and I can see Hades 2 being there just because Hades was a like
Yeah, Hades
really
is a
good
big phenomenon.
game.
Yeah.
So I would expect that to kind of
Final
be there. So I get
Fantasy,
that
that's always huge. Rebirth,
one. Yeah, I mean,
continuing
obviously
this
the expectations
seven
of that are
saga.
big.
Yeah.
Yeah. Star Wars is Star Wars, right? I can see like a Dragon Infinite Wealth. That's kind of like the Yakuza series kind of getting bigger because
Yeah.
of the Game Pass
It's
inclusion.
Tekken.
So I would say Tekken would be replaced by Hellblade. That would be my
Yeah.
guess. But like I just like I can't
I
imagine
could
not
see that.
one game from them. Like come on.
Yeah, I could definitely see that because Tekken 8, like I know it's got its fan base, but it's not as massive as Star Wars or even Hades here. It's not as massive as Hades. Hades is huge.
Yeah.
I don't know. It is what it is.
So,
Content
and
creator
now
of the
come the ones
year.
I
Oh
don't care
my
about. Like what is
gosh.
this stuff?
Okay,
Seriously.
I'm not even. Yeah, who cares?
And then
Content creator of the
esports
year.
game.
I'll choose. I choose. I choose. Reforge Gaming. That's who I choose. Reforge Gaming is the content creator of the year. That guy is phenomenal. Can't wait for that. Best esports game. I don't care. It's Change Your Underwear 3. I don't know. Best
Underwear 3.
Best esports athlete. I don't care. It's Dealer Gaming. Best esports team, RDX. Best esports coach, me.
This one was great. One of these coaches hasn't coached all year, and he called them out and it's like, "Why did you nominate me? I haven't done anything."
Oh, really? Which one didn't coach?
I don't know, but
I'm going with this guy here. He looks like a true gamer right here. The second guy, Danny Zonic Sorensen. All right. Yeah. Best esports event. I don't know. PlayStation State of Play. Yeah, I don't know. That's it though. That is it for the nominees. That is your VGAs this year. It's going to be very, very fun. We possibly will see one of Keely's favorite bands play because he always seems to have a musical act because we need that in our lives, I guess. We need to know his playlist. Right. God, I don't like the theatrics in these shows. Like, just give me the game trailers and world premieres and announcements and your stupid awards and let's be done with it. That's what I want to see. I don't want to see your freaking music playlist. I don't want to hear any of that. All right. I just want to see the games. That's it.
But he's going to do it. I mean, it's about pomp and circumstance. That's just the way it is.
Yep.
He wants it to be like one of the other big awards.
I know,
right? So,
I know, but he's not the Oscars. He's not the Oscars.
He's trying to be.
He's not the DICE Awards. Nah. Let's go with Spartan661 here again with the super chat. $5. Thank you very much. He says, Baldur's Gate 3 is going to win Game of the Year because they took time to find out how the potato works. That spud is best loaded like we get at a restaurant. Just wait. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, dude. It's interesting that they did say something a couple of weeks back about how something with the Series S gave them the opportunity or they found a way to like make their game better on every platform by working so hard with the Series S. I don't know exactly what that was. Did you remember what they were talking about there?
It was VRAM utilization.
The VRAM?
Yeah,
okay.
They reduced it by 34%. Look, it's always down to tuning, right? We were used to that with older games because they had no choice, right? The hardware was always underpowered. You had to deal with it. And now they've just kind of gotten to the point of, hey, it's like a PC. We'll just kind of let it brute force itself, and whatever you get, right? Whereas Microsoft's like, no, we're going to force you to actually work for this. We're going to give you a lower spec box. You're going to have to actually tune to make sure the game works on it. Which does make the game overall better because like the same capabilities are useful across the board, right? You can make the PC version better by saying, okay, I don't need all that extra stuff. I can take advantage of these extra performance enhancements and give you a better gameplay on any platform, right? So That's great. That's a good thing. So what the hey, right? So
All
at least
right.
somebody's pushing them.
Nice. With that, I'm going to end the show here, because it is over 2 hours, guys, and I am tired. My sun has gone down. I no longer have light. The lighting I have here makes me look like I'm sweating, and I'm not sweating. Guys, thank you for coming out. I know I've been away for 2 weeks, and I'm happy that, 3 of you found your way back to my channel. I appreciate you guys very much. I really do. Thank you for joining me. Thank you, Hargeet, for joining me today. You are a kind soul. I love the fact that I've hit you up so many times, and you've always told me, yeah, I can make your show. And that makes me feel really good, man. I appreciate you. You're a true friend.
Anytime. Anytime.
All right, brother. Yeah, anytime I'm not busy, which on a Sunday, usually you're not.
I'm
so
fine.
that's
Yeah,
good.
yeah.
All right. Well, with that said, I want to thank everybody in the chat for coming out, all 3 of you, everybody listening, all 2 of you. And until next time, guys, be kind and change your underwear. Yeah. Game on.